Welcome to another episode of the Finally One podcast. I am Kelly.
Hey, and I'm Natasha.
All right, so this week we got something interesting to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So the holidays just passed, right? And we were kind of reminiscing about, like over the years, especially in our first marriage, about the struggle, like how we didn't have money many times and many years, and how our focus was, just basically to take care of the kids. Do you remember our little hustle we used to do at Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg?
Yes.
What?
Yes,
Tell them
I
about that.
remember.
Tell them about what we used to do.
We would take a day and go to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, and do the timeshares. Like, we would go through the whole spiel, the sitting and going through all of the, what is it called?
The presentations.
Yeah, the presentations of the timeshares, and just to get the free money at the end. Like, we get $100 for going through it, or movie tickets and $100.
Yeah.
So we would like spend the whole day and go to 3 or 4, maybe
Sometimes
even 5 if
yeah.
we can get in there.
Yeah, we did 5, and the goal we just did it to get the money so we can buy Christmas gifts for the kids. And
Right. He would tell the people, "Hey, you don't have to go through this spiel because we just here for the money."
Yeah,
Dang.
but they would go through it anyway and would try to sell us hard. I would tell them, like, listen, we're here. We really just want to get this money
Right.
and get out of here. And I remember we had one cool girl. You remember that one tall girl? And it was when Snoop Dogg Drop It Like It's Hot, and she just kept singing Drop It Like It's Hot. You don't remember that?
No, I do not remember.
She was funny, but other than that, it was very high pressure, and they was trying to get us to buy those things.
Yeah,
but
we almost set in one time. We almost got one. We was wanting to do it so bad. Yeah.
Why? Why did we want to do it? I don't
Because
know.
we just love. We was like, yeah, we're gonna start traveling. We're gonna do this, and let's think about it. And then we're like, nah.
Let's get this money, because we didn't have any money like back then. And what I thought about too, what was crazy, was one of those years where we said we wasn't gonna do anything. We wasn't gonna get each other something. That you want to talk about it? Go ahead. Why you look like
go
that?
ahead. I just remember it.
It was kind of crazy when I start thinking about it, being where we are now, and how I was tricked by the enemy to leave someone who loved me for me, right? And just wanted me to be happy, didn't want anything from me. Like I said, you didn't care like how broke we were. I never felt insecure. I never felt it was a place where you were going to leave, given the opportunity to leave me for somebody with more money or who could do things for you. And I remember one year you actually I think you saved $5 or something from each check or something, or whatever you did. You got me the $25 gift card. Talk about that. Talk about like your mindset behind getting me the $25 gift card.
We had said that we weren't going to do Christmas gifts, but like, I love getting gifts, and I love giving gifts. Like, I love.
Well, gifts is your love language, so
Yes.
let's be clear.
Yes, it is. Gifts are my love language. But it was just my husband. Like, I felt like, oh, I have to get my husband something, even if we did say that we're not getting each other something. So I think what it was, I was working at a check cashing place, and we had got a bonus, and they had actually like gave us $30-$40 bonus, and I was like, hey, this is a perfect opportunity. I can get him something, because we spent all what we had on the kids, and like we said, we were not going to get anything for each other. So I was like, you know what, I want to get him something. So like this, and that felt like that was really out of my heart, and my love for you. Like, I love giving gifts, so I like wanted you to have something.
Yeah, it really was from your heart. And I remember like playing it back. I remember when you gave it to me, you were almost like in tears giving it to me, because you wanted me to appreciate it and be happy. And I was. I just didn't process the value of having a woman who genuinely loved you for you. Does it make sense? And like looking back at their sacrifice, it touched me more now that I am sober minded and not in a place where I'm being tricked by the enemy. And when I look back and I was like, dang, I left a woman who loved me that much and ended up in a relationship, one of the relationships I was in. Listen to this. Here I am, I meet this chick. I think I meet her in the end of October. Why are you looking at me like this? Are you okay with me telling this story?
Yeah, go ahead.
We gotta keep it real. This is a podcast where we're gonna talk about, we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna let people, know the real, some of these stories, and prayerfully help people. But
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so I met this chick in October. We ended up dating towards the end, right after Thanksgiving, and like our first date, like think about this, like our first date, I basically wined and dined this chick, like took her to this, like, it wasn't really expensive
Wait,
restaurant.
pause. This was, we had, when you rushed to get the divorce and everything, right? Like you had
That
got the divorce.
relationship?
Is that the relationship
Yeah.
you're talking about? Okay, go ahead.
Why you do
I
it
just
like
wanted
that?
to make sure, like.
Yeah, this was that relationship. So I was dumb. But anyway, so I wine and dine this chick. I ain't gonna say everything I did or everything
Yeah,
we
tell
did.
some of the stuff what you did.
No,
Wine
no,
and
no.
dine. What
No,
did you do?
No.
What is some of the stuff you did?
Nah, I did too much. One of the things I'll say, I took her to see her favorite artist. But anyway, so this was in November, right? Took her to see her favorite artist, did all of this stuff, and Christmas came, and I got her everything she wanted for Christmas, which wasn't a lot of stuff. Like she wanted like a crock pot and a few things. It didn't equate to a lot of money, and she didn't give me anything. Like not a $25 gift card, not a like nothing. And I remember being like so hurt by that. Like I didn't even know how to really process that. And she kept lying and said she was, and she kept asking me what I want, and I was like, I am the type of person, and you know this, I just changed this year, where I prefer to get money for Christmas. That way I can buy what I want, because people don't put really thoughts into gifts. Gifts like what you want, except for you. Like you, I think you're the only one that knows me enough to know what I like and would get me something. But I like, side note, I don't spend my money on shoes. So people see me with Jordans and stuff like that. I like spending other people's money on Jordans and stuff like that. That's why I asked for money for Christmas, my birthday, Father's Day, and stuff like that. So she kept asking me what I want. I was like, just give me money. And I remember we left her house to go to like her family's house, and she was like, yeah, stop at the bank. So I was like, okay, she really finna give me some money, right? So she gets about $200 out of the bank and just like sticks it in her bra. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. Maybe she want to get a card or something and give it to me. So I'm just chilling. We get to her family's house, and her nieces and nephews are greeting her and stuff, and she pulling 20s out, giving them 20s. So I'm like, okay. Side note, now I didn't got her mom something, her stepdad something, like, you feel me? So I'm feeling some type of way. So that day I didn't get none. So the next day after Christmas, I'm like, yo, when we going shopping? She's like, I'm just gonna give you money. All right, then nothing happened. Next day I'm like, yo, when we going shopping? She's like, I told you I'm just gonna give you money. Third day I was like, you ain't got no more money. And she started crying basically. And nah, she didn't get me anything for Christmas. And bringing this story full circle, here I am. I left someone who loved me enough to wanted to at least give me a $25 gift card. And you know this about me, so be honest. For me, it's not about the amount.
Right.
It's the thoughtfulness. So $25, that would have been cool. It's just like, yo, you don't give me anything. You know what I mean? And I like thoughtful gifts. But I really like getting money as a gift. That way I can get what I want or get what I like and not use my money. Why are you looking like that? Why is that funny?
It's not funny. It's just, I'm just thinking about what you said. Like, I actually gave my last so that you would be happy.
Yeah.
And you get out of this, our relationship, get into that relationship, and that's how you were treated.
Yeah. 100%. And of course it ended up ending, but yeah. So no, she didn't give me anything. And it's just amazing, like thinking about how the enemy will trick you, right? And I'm sure in other episodes we'll talk about my wild years when we divorced and stuff like that. But it's amazing how the enemy will trick you and have you out there looking for what the Lord has already given you.
Wow.
So like think back to Adam and Eve. It's like, you know, one of the things the enemy said to the serpent said to Eve, he said, did God surely say you will die if you eat this fruit? And he said, no, God, you won't die. God knows you'll be like him, right? They were already like him. They were already like him. He had already breathed into them. They were one with him. They were naked and didn't even know they were naked.
Who told you he was naked?
Right, and we spend our time focusing on what we don't have and not appreciating what we do have. You remember that same relationship right after that. Remember, it was like the day after Christmas. I called you and I apologized.
Yeah, you did.
Remember that? And we cried together because I was like, well, you talk about that part because I've been talking a lot. What do you remember about the conversation when I called you?
I was in shock, like, because you were like, I'm out here in this, and I don't remember exactly how.
Remember, I just apologized. I was like, I'm sorry. I took for granted everything you did.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you so sorry? What is going on? Like, and I'm sitting here lonely because the kids telling me before you left, oh, Dad's got this plan. We doing games. We doing this at his house. And it was our first year separated or whatever. And I'm just like, really?
That sucked. That was probably the worst Christmas like I've had too. But yeah, I called you. I apologized because I was like, man, I took for granted everything that you did do in our marriage. Like I took for granted that, you know, you kept the house clean. I took for granted that I always had towels to take a shower. Like, this relationship. Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
Nothing. I just remembered you saying that, like, she would know you was coming into town and wouldn't have sheets on the bed or towels. Like, we didn't have much, but I did wash and clean.
Yeah. Yeah, even though we were living in a trap house, like you kept it clean. We always had clean sheets on the bed. We always had towels. We always had, you know, whatever. And here I was focusing on so many trivial things that didn't mean anything, you know. And as we'll discuss, I'm sure, at other times, being this broken, unhealed little boy that needed to heal and that needed his mother. Caused me to want you to be that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted you to be my mom, and I wanted you to love me the same way my mom showed love and nurture me in a way that she never nurtured me. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. Like I was able to see so many different things that you did do in our first marriage that I took for granted. And I remember us both just crying and you thanking me for sharing that. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Because, like, it felt good to know, like, you did do something. Like, You wasn't there just to say that you were married. Like, we were in it, and I wholeheartedly I loved you and cared for you, but it seemed like I couldn't do anything right or because you were in that state.
Yeah. Why do you feel like you couldn't do anything right?
Because, like you said, you weren't healed to see what I was doing. You were comparing me to anything and everything else, and like nothing was suitable for you. Like, if I cooked something, I didn't cook it right, or I didn't cook it like this, and I didn't cook it with love. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest though. It wasn't cooked with love. Why? Because you didn't feel loved.
Yeah.
There was a difference. So like, talk about that. Like the difference in then and now. It's like now, if you cook something for me, it's filled with so much love and so much better. Why do you think that is?
Because now you show me that, like, you were showing me love, and you show that anything that I cook, even if I burn it or something, you still is like, oh, you did this, you made this out of love. But
Stop! You don't burn food.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, if it gets a little toasty or something, I don't think I've ever burned anything. But I'm just saying.
But I'm saying, I show you that I appreciate it.
Right.
But before we even get to the food, I think this is important. Before we even get to the act of you cooking the food, it's how I treat you now that makes you want to do things for me.
Yeah, because before, like, you wanted me to fix your oatmeal a certain way. It had to be the consistency that you wanted, and I never could get that right. Like, that aggravated me so much.
And I had zero patience with you when it came to that. Like, zero. Like, I was a butthole. I had zero patience.
Yeah, you were.
But you know where that came from? I remember I put this in one of my books where I talked about one of my fondest memories of my mom. We were still living in the projects, and before school she had made me oatmeal. And it was the most warm, loving, just most, tasteful thing I ever tasted in a bowl. Like, and I can't describe it. So it's almost like a junkie chasing a high. Like, I always wanted that to feel that again. And I never, never quite did.
Explains, because you are a food junkie. Like,
yeah.
You talk about the Chicago cookies you had. You talk about the pancakes that you had at Weber. You have all these memories in the food.
Yeah, that came from my mom. That came from my aunties. My auntie Marie, God rest her soul, and my auntie Alvania. It's like food was a way that they showed love. Like, especially my mom. My mom wasn't extremely nurturing. She wasn't extremely touchy-feely, especially like the older and things that I got. But one of the ways she showed her love, especially after I moved to Virginia, every time I came back to Chicago, she had to cook for me. And that was just one of the ways she showed her love. But yeah, food is a big thing, And like I said, my oatmeal had to be right. And I wanted, and then too, my mom, talk about like how I used to want you to cook like every day, and I would say, I don't care.
Oh, yeah. As long as there's food in there, you can cook whatever's in there. I don't care what it is. Put this together. And that would aggravate me, because I'm like, well, what do you want? Don't ask me what I want. I just there's food in there. Cook it. And I'm like, but like for me, I want, like, one day I want pork chops. One day I want this. But we just got food in there. Why don't you cook it? And that was just like so,
Yeah, that came from
And it's the same as like you was doing with your clothes. Like, I would have to.
Now, that was just on Sundays. Let's be clear. I would want you to pick out what I was wearing to church, right? But let's just be 100% clear. The reason I didn't care, I was depressed.
Right. But it all fell into the cooking, the clothes, the oatmeal, like that all took place in that. And that's why I was saying it.
This is all BC. This is before I rededicated, got my heart right before Christ, right?
Yeah.
But here I was, you said it. We were in church. I was in Detroit. I was in church depressed, angry, not wanting to be there, not being fulfilled, So yeah, you're right. But that was only on Sundays. I wanted you to fix my church. And back to the food thing, the reason I would say I wouldn't care is like I grew up where my mom, whatever she cooked, that's what you ate or you didn't eat. Yeah. So I didn't care what you cooked. I just wanted you to cook every day. Especially when those times where you wasn't working and I felt like you was at home all day. And I'd be like, why can't you cook? You here. And you'd be like, I don't know. But it was just so many things like taking up for you is like you said, it was so many things and so many expectations I had for you, but yet wasn't giving you anything. Like I can be honest and say that like there was nothing that I was giving you. I was 100% selfish, only thinking about me. I never even once asked you even how you felt or what you want, what your love language was, nothing. Cause you know what, be honest with you, I didn't care. It was about me. Yeah. Which is why that first marriage failed the way that it did.
Side note, you talking about the food, like I don't eat a lot of stuff either, but to hear you like give me my props on when I make my greens or my cabbage, like, and if I don't eat it because I can't taste it, so yeah, because I don't like it, but to feel that like you're like, dang, you did good on it, and even our daughter, she'd be like, oh Mom, these is good, they're a little spicy, but that's how he likes them. But that makes me feel good.
Thank God for TikTok, right?
Yep. Why you gotta tell my stuff?
You gotta, hey, thank God for TikTok, right? Yeah. But the difference, not just, cause like you can have a recipe, right? You can have all of the steps, but if there's no love in it, I feel the love in whatever it is that you cook now. Like, Thanksgiving just passed too. For me, one of my favorites, far as like the food, like you and Kiki cooked, and like it was really, really good. It was hard to throw it away. Like if we hadn't went on that trip, I don't know if I would have been eager to throw it away. Like, but nah, it's good. The greens and just all of the stuff you cooking. Like you cooking mac and cheese now. You cooking all of the things, So yeah, it's good, but I think the deeper thing is how I treat you now versus how I treated you then. So like I feel like now we are truly like a partnership. Like even after everybody left and it was time to clean up, I didn't go sit on the couch and watch the game. I helped you. I cut up the stuff. I put this stuff, help you put this stuff away. And I was like, babe, we make a great team.
Yeah. Because reminiscing, like, when we was married before, if I did cook, I would have to wash the dishes, like, and I would try to wash the dishes before I would sit down and eat because, like, I didn't want to be in the midst, so I would wash the dishes and eat while I was cooking or something like that. But now, like, with the help and you helping out and us eating together and doing stuff together, you ain't got in there and help cook anything. You grill and stuff, but we was supposed to
stop it. What you talking
make
about?
Some
we
stuff
supposed
together.
Like what?
I don't know. You just said we was gonna do something.
Babe, come on now.
Don't
like
me.
Usually when we cook a meal, I usually do the meat and you do the sides. So how can we? Exactly. So why are you trying to make it seem like I won't? You just, when I do cook, you don't eat the stuff that I cook. Like you don't eat gravy and rice, and I make gravy from scratch. From scratch. You know what I'm saying? Just, I don't have to put a clip in there, but I make gravy from scratch. You do too. I taught you how to do it. Didn't I? But you don't eat it. So I will cook for you if you ate what I cook. But I grill for you? Do I grill what you want me to make for you? So don't try to, don't come for me.
All right.
Yeah. But so healing has been important because, I think it started with how I treated you in the first marriage. First marriage was a disaster. It was a disaster. So many reasons, but as the head, I take responsibility, because I feel like going back full circle before we wrap this up. You loved me for me and would have ultimately followed me anywhere, done anything for me. You was a rider. Like, you was not, like I said, a woman who wanted anything from me. It's like I didn't have anything. And fast forward, I think I was talking to Pastor yesterday about how, how did I put it? I forget how I put it or what the context of what we were talking about, but it had to do with you not wanting anything from me and that genuinely loving me for me. Like, I didn't, here it is. I didn't realize all of the success that I had right before we divorced and going into, the season where we lived divorce and I was out there wilding. I didn't realize how much of that was because of my favor that came from you. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't realize that the reason before we got divorced that I was able to operate on such a high level in business and in life and in everything is because of my favor that came from being in covenant with you. Even though I didn't treat you right. Does it make sense? There still came favor with that.
Right.
But I didn't realize that. So I was a fool, right? Fast forward to now being in this marriage, this second go round, not only are we in covenant, but we're in a place where I'm treating you right. We're one, and we're one with the Father. Like, He is the center, the favor and the blessings and just everything that comes with that is I can't even put into words.
Exactly.
It's so different. But it's also scary, which I don't want to go into that in this episode, but we'll talk about that soon. How scary it is being completely naked before the Lord and before your spouse. We'll talk about that in a future episode. But yeah, so anything else you want to say about Christmas or lessons or anything over the years, things you remember about Christmas or the kids growing up and things like that? Or our just struggles, remember the goal began some of the years being, we're going to do Christmas and we don't want to use credit cards. You remember?
What came to mind.
Why you didn't say it?
Well, I was listening to what you said and then that's what came to mind and then you said it.
So one accord.
Yeah.
They're going to think that's corny. Who cares? Right. But no, listen. And then you remember how every time it would get close to Christmas or we was like, we need something to shake, and something would happen where I would get some money or we would get some money.
Yeah.
One year the car got hit. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And we got $1,000 for that. And we were able to do Christmas. I'm talking about mine. I'm talking about mine. When the Mercedes got hit, remember that?
Yeah. But I was just trying to think of some other stuff.
Remember the other time that bank account got down to, that bank account was coughing, right?
Yeah.
And we got the call to be in the movie. Aaron got paid to do the movie, But remember, I got a
You
check.
did.
My check was bigger than Aaron's check. He was in the movie. I got a bigger check for help market the movie.
Yep.
Right at Christmas time. It was like right on point. It was just several times like something happened to where we were able to do Christmas for the kids and do it like God would make a way. So I'm grateful for those times, and it made us you know, who we are. Like we went through some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we made it though. We went through some tough times, I think. And this is we'll end on this. Think of your final thought, because you got to give a final thought before we get out of here. But this Christmas was one of the Christmas where I wasn't really focused on what I got, or, you know, because my whole mindset in the past has been, yo, this is the opportunity for me to receive based on everything I've given to the family for the whole year. Does that make sense? Like, so the mindset was looking for Christmas, or looking for when it's Christmas or my birthday for me to be poured back into, or the holes that are in me, the parts of me that are unhealed, seeking validation. This was the opportunity for me to get this validation, right? But after, you know, getting healed and being on this side, this Christmas was more for me about the family and being fulfilled in me. So it didn't even matter what I got. Does that make sense? Like, my focus wasn't on presents. My present is I have my family back. You know, I can enjoy, you know, all of the kids, our new, you know, son-in-law or daughter-in-law, and then our grandbaby. It's like, that's what it's about.
Right.
It's not about things. Like, I really don't need another pair of shoes. Now, do I want more? Yeah, but do I need it? No. Does it mean anything to me? No, it doesn't. What means most to me is my family, and like having my family back, and us being like, not just back, but us being happy.
Right.
Like, I'm finally happy. I'm not in a place where, okay, I got my family back, but I'm not happy or I'm not fulfilled. This is the first time I'm happy, I'm fulfilled in my business. Business is doing great. Our relationship is great. And in the family healing portion. So, final thoughts from you.
Final thoughts. I would just say, stay humble. Love God. I was thinking of our devotion this morning, and loving God and staying in Him, and that's just my final thought. Love God, and it's not about what you're giving as far as gifts wise, but give love. And that's what our devotion was this morning, just giving love. That's
it.
That's my final thought.
Can't close it out no better than that. Thank y'all for tuning in. Tune in next Wednesday, noon. New episode of the Finally One podcast. I am Kelly.
And I'm Natasha. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, just wanted to come to you thanking you for checking out the Finally One podcast.
Listen, this is what we need you to do. We need to grow our following. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Make sure you're sharing these episodes. You don't know what couple that they may help. So subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You don't know who you're going to help. And make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Yes, guys. Share. Help us.
Yep. And you don't know who you're going to help. So it's not about us. It's about helping couples, right?
Share. Yeah.
So share, like, subscribe. Help us get our following up.